This is an absolute work of art, and it's one of the things I love to see when I judge for any club or indeed any competition, is I love to feel that there's been an artist behind the camera, and this is absolutely the case with this image. It almost, to me, looked like alien planets. When you sort of stand back and look at it, you could almost visualise that alien world. The other one was the post office, beautiful range of colour tonings, the pinks that travel through the image, the jacket on the chair, which you have appropriately covered in dirt and dust to make sure that it fits with the scene. The pinks also flow through into the flowers that are in the picture in the frame on the mantelpiece, and indeed even the pink toning in the floor. The well-loved fireplace, the sense of warmth that this place was a well-loved home. It's just got a really nice mood about it. Great set of images. Well done.
Now, Agatha.
This panel is actually quite interesting with a broad range of variety of the photos. However, I just want to make some points. When you're submitting the photos into the competition, we need to be careful of the quality of the photos. Some of the photos I see that have a very good composition, have also captured at the right moment, but it needs to be improved in terms of the quality. For example, the photos on the third photo in the first row, the photo with the rainbow, is actually a nice photo. I mean, like you cannot see rainbows every day, so you capture it in the right moment. But when you take a look, when you try to enlarge the photo is actually not really focused, not really sharp. And then in the landscape photo, you need to be sharp. And the other things that I want to comment is actually the night shot. You can see some architecture, the city shots. Again, it's actually a very nice composition, no doubt about it. But when I try to enlarge these photos, there is some, it seems to be some shake. I mean, this is probably camera shake, because it seems that probably when the photographer take a picture without any tripod, and we know that when you take a picture of the night shot, it needs a tripod because of the slow speed. So that kind of things that we need to be careful, especially when submitting photos in the competition, because there are a lot of because that the quality of the photo itself, it becomes very important. But again, but again, this panel is actually show that all of you have a very artistic taste in terms of the composition. Very nice, all the photos, but just need to be careful on the technical part.
Richard. Sorry, Richard, just your microphone, please.
Right, I was muting my microphone just in case the phone rang, which is just as well because it did ring during that session. So switching it back on does help. Thank you for pointing that one out, Andrew. Yeah, great variety in this panel. You're looking at some clever photographic work in here, and up on the top left of this panel, I did enjoy that rather large pig just gently shuffling out of the picture space. I thought that was very cleverly seen. And then the impact on the quality that's been produced by just studying that snail shell, I thought was very interesting. But the one which I'm going to comment on, because it picks up a couple of the points which Agatha identified in her comments on that last panel, that if you're taking landscapes, you really do need to have sharpness and quality to them, which is exactly what there is in the bottom row here. A couple of good landscapes, but it's the third one in, which is the Bow Lake sunrise, that I think captures all clever landscape techniques. Beautiful light, very well handled, a great foreground with tremendous strength to it that takes you, those two rocks point you to the summit of the hill reflection in the background, and you travel across that perfectly flat water to the rock faces beyond. Very capable, a lot of thought gone into the composition, tremendous depth of field. Everything about it says good quality landscape photography.
Bronwyn?
Another panel with a lot of very strong images. The one on the top left has got that gorgeous little image inside the ball that's held in the girl's hand, which is lovely to see if you actually blow it up. The two that I particularly want to hone in on, and one of them I will hone in very briefly on, is one, the little boy up on the top right-hand side, titled Boxer in Red. And there is actually a similar child in the monochrome section, but the thing that makes this one so much stronger is the attitude, the expression on the child. You've captured a little bit more. There's the whole body posture of the child, that look in the eyes, that sense of determination. It's very, very important to capture that personality in the image, that picture beyond just what they physically look like. But the one that I want to really hone in on is the one called Duality of Lockdown. And that's the one on the bottom, the third from the left. A very clever way this has been put together. And I guess here in Melbourne, I was saying to the group running this competition just before we started this, that we've emerged in Melbourne from a very similar lockdown to one that you've gone into in Ireland. And I believe there's actually been a lot of communication between our Chief Medical Officer and yours in Ireland in relation to what we did. And if it's any inspiration and sense of hope for you guys, we've now gone a fortnight without a single new case in Melbourne, having been locked down for 15 weeks, but we're now out the other side of that, and we've got the ability to keep our lid on it, we hope. But the duality of lockdown, very, very interesting, that contrasting, the contrast of the colour, that sense of hope on one side, the sense of depression on the other, and that the two colours that have been brought together to show that contrast, and indeed the posture and the expression that goes with that. I just felt that this was particularly well put together. Well done.
And Agatha?
Very interesting panels with a lot of variety as well. But the minute I saw this panel, I was attracted by the photo of the red umbrella. Is it at the last photo in the first row? The red umbrella, and with a very interesting gesture of the feet of the women. So this is, I think, for me, is a very nice idea to have this kind of sharing, very fun, and then very attractive. The title of this photo is actually Alone in the Storm. Very interesting, indeed, it's very interesting title. But if I can suggest, I think if I want to title these photos, I would say that I'm going to say that the title is hidden. Why? Because you keep wondering what is actually behind the red umbrella. This kind of mysterious and fun about this photo. That okay, you can imagine, okay, what is actually inside? Okay, what is actually behind the red umbrella? It can be, is it what? I mean, like, is it a blonde hair women, or is it a dark brown women? Okay, there are a lot of things. So if I can suggest that the title will be like the more mysterious things. But the overall is nice panels, and also especially the glass with the nice color yellow and blue is a very creative photos, and I think it's a good, also one of the good still photo.
Now, Richard.
Yes, throughout this whole competition, I've been impressed very much with the variety of subject matter that clubs have been able to pull together. Some very skilled photographers out there. And when you look at a panel like this, you're going right the way through still life, natural history, portraiture, seascapes, landscapes. It's a very, very good group. The one that I want to concentrate on, though, is down in the bottom left hand, which is the fishing hut. And again, I'm always impressed by those photographers who bother to take pictures in what you would call adverse conditions. There's no specific light coming into this. You're just looking at very grey, misty conditions, and your long exposure here has helped to blur the water, but it's also, to my mind, added a great deal of interest by those two little boats over on the left-hand side, gently moving up and down as the water does. And that added little interest, I think, just lifts the pictures. I did wonder initially whether taking a little bit off the sky or a little bit off the water might have strengthened the attention on the fishing hut, but I think it carries itself off in exactly the way you've cropped it there. So just leave it well alone. It's a lovely image.
Bronwyn?
Some beautiful work in this panel, and I could indeed have picked, more than half of them to comment on. There's one I'll comment on briefly, and that's the one in the bottom left-hand corner that's titled Lonely Goldie, because it's just such a stunning image, and in fact it was the image that I gave the highest score to out of this panel. It's got such beautiful lighting, beautiful 3D, that quality going through that hallway in terms of the light shafting across that hall. There's one thing I felt that would have taken this another point higher. And if you've got access to this location, I think it's well worth your while returning. And that's the teddy bear. Loved the teddy bear, but the teddy bear needed to be not a new teddy bear. If you've got access to opportunity shops, what we call opportunity shops, which are those charity shops where you might be able to pick up a well-worn, well-loved, partially falling apart teddy bear and pop it in that spot, I think you will have yourself just that notch higher on what is already a very good image. The one that I particularly wanted to focus on is called The New Normal, and that's the one second from the left up on the top row. And it's really quite a clever compilation of faces, particularly when you talk about the positioning of the lines going through the face. And I saw that as the sharp dividing line, as being the separating of the young from the old, indeed, when we're protecting people within this COVID environment. And the mask on the young, and that look of determination on that young person who you could say was determined to protect the people on the other side of that dividing line. And even the fact that there's a man on the left-hand side, it's a man up the top and a woman down the bottom, the separation of people, people being put in hospital, people who are being kept apart. And I saw that as part of it. And then just in terms of the way you've unified it, the use of the hood and the woman's necklace, when you follow that line, it actually unites, going around through the picture, it unites those two sides of the picture, even though that dividing line is there. I just thought that was very symbolic. Well done.
Now we're back to Agatha. Sorry, Agatha, you've got your microphone. Yep.
Yeah, okay. This is also one of my favorite panel. A very interesting panel because most of the panel have a dreamy effect, have a painting effect. The one that I want to comment is actually the photo of the sunflower. You can see that in the second row on the right corner, on the left corner of the second photo, the sunflower. It's a simple one, but when you enlarge this, I can see that this is a very soft lighting and also have a painting effect again. And this is have an unusual angle in the sense of when you take a picture of the sunflower, people usually take a picture in front of the sunflower, but this is from the side. So everything is very soft. Then I can imagine this kind of type of photo is hanging on the wall in a very nice gallery. I think it's kind of one of the art photos that everybody can enjoy. Nice panel again, and good job to the club.
Richard?
Yes, lovely variety too in this one, running through some creative floral studies, and some interesting portraiture, including the lovely portrait of the monkey. Is it staring at its own reflection, which is quite fascinating. The lady up in the top left corner, it almost looks like a stage set, something that you'd expect to find on an amateur dramatic stage, so some good lighting in there. The one that did hit me very strongly, though, was this group down in the bottom row, second one in from the left-hand side, which is just called Friends for Life. It's been very well posed and lit. I love the fact that they've all got the baseball caps on backwards. They've a very intimate pose, 3 characters there. And I think in the way that you've got this arranged, you've actually captured the characters of the girls, where the strong diagonal lead running through the picture space, great expressions, and it's the sort of picture that all 3 of them, I'm sure, will look back on with great pleasure in future. Lovely bit of work.
Now back to Bronwyn.
Again, some beautiful work amongst these this set of images. There's the one that I'm going to focus on is actually the first in the top left, which is titled Remembering the Days Gone By. And it's got really beautiful lighting on this portrait and great depth of field to make sure that you've got those hands with the pipe in focus as well as the eye. As much as your face, your eye is drawn to the face, it's so important because that pipe in his hands is so much part of the character that you've captured. This one to me screamed to be in an environmental portrait. Because there's so much character about this person. I'm not quite sure what he's actually balancing on, whether it's a type of bench or maybe even part of a suitcase. It struck me that you could probably actually crop that bottom off and that it would possibly make this image a little bit stronger because that bottom really isn't actually helping you with anything. But if you were to then take this same character and place him in a bar or in a setting in a chair near a window somewhere, I think it would even be it felt like an environmental portrait without the environment, and that would actually take this a notch higher, much as I think what you've done here is very good. And just a little comment on the dog on the couch. And yes, we've reupholstered one of our couches too, thanks to one of our dogs doing similar to what's happened to this particular chair. Just on the muzzle, this dog's obviously been brought in with a halty around his to hold on, lead him on the muzzle. And just before you photograph him, if you do this again, just give his muzzle a bit of a rub so that you haven't got the mark of the strap across his muzzle. That was the only thing, because other than that, it's a perfect portrait of the dog. Well done.
And Agatha?
Yeah, this is a very lovely panels, a lot of variety, and a lot of variety in the sense of they have some still life, they have some sport and street photography, and some humans. The one that there is 2 photos that I want to comment is the first one is actually the first image. The first image on the first row. I think the title is Decisive Moment. This is a very creative idea, and I think the one that more interesting is actually the movement. I mean, the movement of the toys itself. It's not easy. I think it's not easy to make this kind of. I mean, like you have to set it really right in the right position, and I can see that the photographer actually really try hard to make the movement like a decisive moment. So that is actually a very good one. If there is something to improve, it probably the lighting, because the lighting probably a little bit flat. You can enhance it a bit to make the photo, the message of the photo of decisive moment is more impacted. The second one of the photos I would like to comment is actually the second photo of the first row. Again, I like the dreamy effect of the photos. It's like, okay, you are in the different environment, and this is what I feel when I see these photos, and then especially underneath is red. So there is some contrast between the white one, the color of the white one, the mist environment of the trees, and also I think because of the colors of the ground, which is the red one. So it's a very nice combination, and it's a very nice composition.
Richard?
Yes, thank you. Yes, one or two pictures here deserve a comment. There's a couple of little technical issues with a couple on the top row where we're looking at the big cat here up on the top left. I just wonder whether it would have been possible to gently fade that background back and give it almost more attention on the cat itself. And your orb, that's the third one in on the top row, I just wish you'd had a little bit more sharpness on that because it's just slightly out of focus. The night fishing heron I thought worked very well indeed, but it's the bottom row where I think there's some very skilled still life work. Bottom left, where you've got the musical score with those three reflectors, it's very cleverly done. And then moving along to the skull, which I think just called still life. You've got some wonderful lighting in here. Always a difficult subject, still life, because you've got to be in total control of the light, the placement of objects. You can't blame anybody else if it goes wrong. It's totally down to you. But I think you've constructed this very well indeed. I love the little bit of highlight on the dark greeny grey background. And for me, the inspired touch in this to give it an extra highlight was to have that red feathered quill in the middle of the picture space. It just gives a strong point of focus. Otherwise, I think your eye would have been wandering around it a bit. Very well put together, very well lit.
Bronwyn?
There's a few, again, I could comment on. I actually photographed ballet dancers for quite a long while, mostly in concert setting. I didn't typically do photography with studio type work. The one that I particularly want to focus on is actually the one in the top left, which is titled Waterfall at, now I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, but it's the waterfall in the top left corner. Gorgeous landscape image with wonderful depth of field and a great three-dimensional quality to it. The lighting is well controlled to retain the detail throughout the whites, and the radiating pattern of water adds significantly to this image. It is a beautiful landscape image. Well done.
And Agatha?
Yeah, very attractive panel. And this is one of the complete variety of the panel that I've seen during the competition. I have a scenery, we have an animal, and macro photo, portrait, sport photo, and also a still life. The one that I want to comment is actually the third photo on the top row is the sport photo. I'm really very attracted by this photo because I can see the expression of the players. And I think the photographer have captured it at the great moment, at the right moment. And this is one of the best, I think one of the best important elements when you doing a sport photos. It has to be at the right moment. And you can see that all the players is trying to fight, and then there is a story behind this photo. You can see that, okay, you can feel that, okay, all the players is trying to fight to win. So this is one of the successful sport photos. And the other things that I'm actually attracted is the red color and with the bunny. Red is my favorite color. That's why everything I was attracted by the red color. But it's very interesting with the background, with all the hands, and then how the bunny is actually like a abandoned bunny, something like that. But it's a nice composition, and that it's something at a fresh idea. and it's a very good photos. It's just what kind of message you want to tell about these photos. They're the things that when the photographer submitting or display a photo, you need to think what kind of message you want to get, you want the audience to get. Okay, that's the things that probably you need to always remember. But the overall is very nice panel. Good job.
And Richard?
Another strong panel here with a lovely emphasis on nature, some lovely captures there. I thought the fox was wonderful, and also capturing that moment with the heron down on the bottom left to get that fish. And you do wonder how they managed to swallow them. I was watching them near where I live, capturing flatfish, decent-sized flatfish, and swallowing them whole. And you just think that will not go down that slim neck, but it does. The one I'd like to concentrate on, though, is just that lovely little blue tit up in the top left-hand corner, because your composition there is so unlike a lot of, dare I say, bird-on-a-stick pictures, where they are frequently slap bang in the middle of the picture space. Having it offset here to the left-hand side on what I think is one of those beautifully contorted hazel twigs, I think was a very, very good touch indeed. Your depth of field is absolutely spot on. The sharpness in the blue tit's eyes works wonderfully. The only thing that I would possibly consider doing with it, you've captured beautiful springtime yellow greens in the background. And I did find that they were starting to almost dominate the yellows of the blue tit's breast feathers. And possibly if those yellows in the background, if you just select that yellow in the background and reduce its saturation a fraction, I think it would make the blue tit stand out a little bit more. But great composition, good skill and knowledge of your camera craft.
Now back to Bronwyn.
Yes, look, there's again some great captures within this panel. The little squirrel up in the top left, top left corner, immediately attracted my eye when I saw it, and it's just a pity that we haven't got the full face in the reflection. If only that had been there, it just would have nudged this image a bit high, but it's still a lovely capture. The one that I'm going to comment on in particular, though, is the one in the bottom left-hand corner, which is titled Colour Pop. And some beautiful textures in this image and a combination of patterns throughout the timber with a contrast of the patterns of the actual shutters going across. The only thing that even the colour combination, that bright hot pink item hanging on that line in that window, the thing that probably would have lifted that a little bit is if that garment had been a little bit more identifiable, or had even a touch of humour associated with it, you know, something lacy or just something that adds that little bit of extra element to the visual impact that's already there. But other than that, well done.
And Agatha?
Yes, very lovely panels and a very interesting one. Especially the one that I want to comment is actually the one that at the minute I saw this panel is attract me is the girl with the ponytail flying. Okay, this is the third photos on the first row. This is one of my favorite photo, not only in this panel, but also with this during the competition. What a creative idea. And the things that actually become more powerful in this photo is actually the expression of the girl. Because when you take a picture of children, of a child, you want to capture the pureness of the child. And you can feel that this child expression is very natural. You can feel that how naive is the girl. So that makes these photos is very successful. And the other things I want to comment is actually on the bottom row, the third photo as well. It's a very interesting setting. It's a very interesting, it's not a setting in the sense of setting, probably this is a candid, but it's very nicely with two windows, with the two people. It's a nicely captured at the right moment. Overall, I think again, as I mentioned before, is a wide variety of panels and an interesting one, and good job to the club.
And Richard?
Thank you. Yes, a couple of clever pictures in here. Down on the bottom row, third one in, looking straight down into the top of the coffee pot. I thought that was cleverly seen. Very good still life, some real rich tones in that. You almost do need the explanation through the title as to what the subject actually is. So I enjoyed exploring that one. But the one I kept coming back to is the one on the left-hand side of the coffee pot, appropriately called Abandoned Faith. And I do like the way you've discovered this. I don't think you've put it together unless you're exceptionally clever at spinning spiders' webs, which do cover the top of that crucifix very nicely indeed. I think you've handled the lighting here extremely well, balancing out the stronger light outside along the dimpled glass against the shadow on the inside to ensure that we've got adequate detail on the front of the crucifix. Also, your depth of field, I think, has worked very well indeed. We've got a gently out of focus foreground rather, taking us through to the detail of the crucifix. Having it offset to the right-hand side, I think works extremely well. Very well seen and produced.
And we're now back to Bronwyn again.
I was actually delighted to get this particular panel on my list to comment on, because 4 of these images were amongst, in fact, 5 of these images were amongst my favourites in this competition. And I'm going to comment on 2 in particular, but I have to say that I think that the landscape up in the top right is absolutely beautiful, and that lady with her shopping bag travelling through on the second from the left up in the top row, travelling through with her shopping bag through a glass with water trickling down. We've actually got an art centre here in Melbourne that's got a water wall down the wall of glass, and we got a lot of images along these lines through that wall of glass, and this just immediately reminded me of that, but just delightful. But the 2 that I particularly want to comment on is the one titled Mantis Roof, which I think the title itself will tell you which one I'm talking about. It's the one in the top left. And it's just so cleverly seen to capture a piece of architecture and see an insect in that piece of architecture. The richness of the colour tones, you've got those complementary colours, those golden tones and the complementary blues. You've got that lighting which has come through at a beautiful time of day to actually give that beautiful golden tone through that orange of the roof line. And then to see eyes, to see that piece of architecture as a set of eyes, it's just a masterstroke. It really is a terribly clever picture in the way you've sought to capture it. The other one that I want to comment on is the one down in the bottom left corner, which is titled Clown. And this was also one of my absolute favourites. It's just got everything. It's got lighting, it's got animation, it's got atmosphere. You've even got this sort of smoke travelling through behind him. And that face, it just exudes personality, that figure coming at you with that look in the eyes, and the treatment that has been applied to the eyes to give them that hint of red through the eyes. It's really beautifully done. And, you know, the depth of field and the other technical aspects have just been nailed. I can see 4 images here easily that are international standard, and I'd encourage you to enter them.
Okay, we're just going to give Agatha a rest for a moment, and we're going to move on to Richard.
Thank you. Yes, again, as I've mentioned already, throughout this competition, I've been astounded by the sheer variety of work that clubs have managed to put together. When you're looking here, we've got landscape, you've got close-up, you've got some interesting interior architecture, some very good nature too. But the one that I did enjoy and would like to comment on is up on the top right, top row, right-hand side, which is just out to pasture. And I think in a field full of cows, kneeling down, I presume, to take this picture is always a very dodgy thing to do where there's cows about. But getting your exposure right in this situation against a bright sky, you've got perfect lighting throughout the subject. Great depth of field, so we're just losing some of the sharpness of the grasses in the foreground, but every bit of the cow is sharp. I just wish you'd managed a couple of inches more at the top of the picture, because we're just clipping the top of one of the ears and missing the top of the head. If you'd managed to include that, I think it would have been a much stronger picture, but very well put together. And like so many pictures we're seeing in this competition, your understanding of what your camera can do is excellent.
Right. Bronwyn?
Very broad range again in this set of images. The cat on the top right-hand corner has the most beautiful set of eyes, and that intensity of those eyes looking out through the window. It really does make you want to just push the cat aside for a second, just see what it's looking at. And to want to engage with a picture like that is always an asset. The one that was the standout image, though, in this set is, for me, is the one on second from the left on the top row, the sporting image of, again, another shot of hurling. And the moment that this has been captured at is just spot on, that ball just in the right spot of the image where you can actually physically see the ball against the person without being lost against anything in the background that might be a similar colour. That person about to hit it with, I'm going to be ignorant here, I'm assuming it's called a bat, but to actually hit it, and that other person who's coming in the hope of actually capturing that ball from that person. It's just been caught at that peak of the moment, which is the perfect thing to achieve in a successful sporting image. Well done.
Sorry. And Agatha?
Sorry. Yes, it's a very lovely panels, and again a mix of variety with some of the animals, and also there is some human picture, and also there's some landscape. The one that attracted me most is actually the second photo on the top row, where there are two birds. One is the big bird and the other one is a small bird. If you take a look at this photo, it looks like the big one is talking to the small one, and you are kind of wandering around what are they talking about. So I think in taking a picture of the nature, the animals is not an easy. You have to wait until the right moment, and congratulate to the photographer that you capture at the right moment. It looks like they are talking to each other. I think that's the successful of the nature photo, is to take at the best moment. And the one that I want also to comment is actually the first photos, the landscape with there is some, I think there is some halo of, there is some circle halos. This is a very nice photos, landscape photos, and very soft lighting. But you can see it's quite powerful, and people attracted because the most part is actually because of the nice half halos. That one is like the half rainbows. So this is a very successful landscape photo as well. So I guess excellent job to all the photographers in this panel.
And Richard?
Thank you. Some good sky astral photography here. That trail of the Milky Way up above the tower, very cleverly captured indeed. A lot of creativity and thought and concentration went into that. The one that I would like specifically to comment is also on the top row, second one in from the left-hand side, which is just entitled The Stick Maker. And to me, portraiture, if it can give you an insight into an individual's character, I think it carries so much more weight to it. And I think this person's gentle, warm smile says so much about the individual. You've got him there with his stick-making craft, lovely little bit of light on his hands just to give attention down there. What I would think improved this a lot is if you could just introduce a little bit more light. And as we are looking at the character, on the left-hand side of his face, that's to say his right cheek, just to put a little bit more light in there. If it was possible to reset this one, I would have looked at having a little bit of a reflector off to the left to push that little bit of light in. You're probably never going to be able to recompose this one again. So possibly you could easily do it in either Lightroom or Camera Raw using the adjustment brushes to put a little bit of light in there. If you're doing that, I would be inclined, just behind him, there is a bit of a highlight on some material or sticks. I'd just tone that down a little bit so we've got nothing to pull away from his face or his hands. But lovely character, well caught.
And Bronwyn?
I've got a couple of favourites again among this set of very, very good images, actually. Some, the poppies are beautiful. The intensity on the single poppy, I should say, second from the left on the top row is beautiful, as is the bird on the top left. But the two that I particularly want to hone in on is the one titled Do You Want a Sweet, which is the one that's third from the left on the top row. Such a delightful interaction between this child and this animal. And to just have that moment where these two clearly have an interest in one another is just such a lovely interaction. It's a difficult lighting situation as well, and it's been well handled in that regard. If I had a wish list, it would have been that the head of the other child, just the top of that jacket in the foreground, if there'd been any possibility of that head not being in this picture, it would just make this picture that much better. And I do in fact wonder whether it might be worthwhile cropping the bottom of that image, much as you'll lose a little bit of the child's hood. The main part of the image is in fact up around the face and the two faces and the hand of the child, and you can actually lessen the impact of that hood if you just perhaps trim it a little bit and make it a more panoramic image. The other one that I particularly want to comment on is the one in the bottom left corner, which is titled Refraction, and such a gorgeous capture to capture the light refraction across the disc. The only thing that I would comment on is that whenever you've got writing in an image, writing does tend to draw your eye because people naturally look to writing to read it. And much as we all know it's a disc and that the writing on that disc is probably very, very boring information, I did wonder whether perhaps just cropping that off and leaving the abstract of the lighting with the bubbles that also refract the light, whether taking that little bit of the bright edge off might actually make this image just a little bit stronger. And if you were to do that, you'd probably balance it with a little bit off the left as well. But just as a thought, to experiment with that on the screen. But still, the colours through that image are beautiful, and the fact that you put those bubbles on to then add that extra dimension of the play of those colours through the water droplets was great. Well done. Thank you.
And back to you, Agatha.
Yeah, very lovely panels, and I think it's a strong panel as well. There is two photos that I want to comment. One is actually the third photos from the first row. The title is actually Water Under the Bridge. This photo is one of my favorite one because I I can feel the emotion of these photos, and I can take a look at the photos again and again and not getting bored at all. I can imagine that if I in the stressful day and I see this photo, then I feel so my mood it will be better again, because I think it's a very nice, very soft lighting with the nice effect of a painting types of things. This is a nice composition, and nice composition in the sense of, okay, there is a bridge, and then you can feel that sense of depth as well, and then you feel that, okay, you are walking through this under the bridge as well. So it's very nice, again, a nice composition as well, and very good art photos, sexual art photos. And another one I want to comment. It's actually the portrait of a man. You can see that portrait of a man. It's a very nice and strong expression. You can see that how sharp is the eyes, and how is actually the man is staring at you, and the lighting also good lighting, and quite dramatic in the sense of they can enhance the character of the man. So it's a successful portrait as well. Excellent and well done.
Bronwyn.
Again, a very broad variety in this set. Particularly like, I would particularly commend the image in the top right-hand corner of the flower. The fact that the flower petals overlap, and because the light is coming down through the flower, you've actually got the shadow work of one petal across another. It has a particularly nice feel to it. And there's even just that hint of a spider web across between the various stems of the flowers that is just catching the light, just a hint of it. But the one I particularly want to talk about is the one in the bottom left-hand corner, which is titled Running In. And again, it's one of those examples of a minimalist subject within a scene. You've got that beautiful scene going across with the undulating sand that has captured that beautiful light that's come in at either early or late in the day. You'll get fairly similar light. But to have that three-dimensional aspect of it, creating that pattern of colour and light going through the sand and through to that tiny little running figure, and you know that figure has not been staged. That figure is actually running, because the hair, if you look, and we're talking the tiniest detail here, apart from the fact that one leg is lifted and they're physically in the mode of running, the hair is streaming out behind that figure. And it's just such a really nice and really important touch. It's lovely. And I can't also go without mentioning the bottom right-hand corner, that lovely atmospheric light that's there amongst the tree. Very, 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 very nice capture with that mist capturing that light. Well done.
And Agatha?
Yeah. Again, this is a very interesting and lovely panels, and mix of variety as well. You can see that some landscape, you can see some still life, and you can see also a human street photos. So it's very nice collection of these panels. The one that I want to talk about is actually the photo of the church. The one is, there's a square, it's cropped square in the first one in the bottom row. This is become more interesting because it show that how is actually you compare between the church with the houses. You can see there is some similarity on the top of the church with the top of the rooftop of the houses as well. So it's a very nice composition, and it crop really effectively. You make it crop in square. So it's a very nice, and then also it's unusual angle in the sense of you have to be a little bit high angle to take this kind of picture. So I think if there is any improvement or not, or make it more dramatic to these photos, is probably the lighting. I know this is difficult, especially when you're traveling to in one place and you're probably not coming back to that place, is if you wait a little bit, like probably sunrise or probably during the sunset, I think the photos become more dramatic because it will be illuminated by the lightings, very nice lighting, and become the photos more powerful. And it's excellent photos.
And Richard.
Yes, I couldn't help but notice how blue appears so well in some of these pictures. Blue water droplets, just lovely to get that central, stronger shape in the water drops. And that aerial view looking down on the coast, it's quite a visual feat, that one, to try and interpret exactly what it was. That's down in the bottom row on the left-hand side. Next to it, I think, is a very delicate shot, just of the little hoverfly on the flower head, with a minimal depth of field, which has created a very artistic, painterly effect to the overall picture. But the one that I do want to comment on a little bit more is on the top row on the right-hand side, where I think it's called In Full Flight. And you can see it is there because that both feet are clear of the ground. There is tremendous action there, but you've managed to capture it in perfect, sharp detail and some lovely light as well. So very, very good bit of sports photography there. The one thing which I think could improve it significantly is that if you can do a little bit of work on the background, certainly reduce the contrast, take down the saturation considerably, and just darken it down so that the bright colors which are in there do not detract from the player. That if those colors, the saturation and the sharpness are held back, I think you will find that the player stands out significantly more. But overall, a fascinating and enjoyable panel.
Thank you.
Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me to be one of your judges. This competition, as I mentioned, was introduced to me as one that was for non-advanced photographers, and it just absolutely isn't. The standard in this is very easily what I would expect to see in national competition, and indeed at the better end of the images, there's no question that many of them are international standard and worthy of awards, internationals in a number of instances. I would absolutely encourage people who have done well in this competition to look to entering those bigger competitions, because it's challenging yourself that helps you raise that bar. It's very easy when you're at the top of a club or even at top of any sort of competition to sort of plateau there. And until you take that next step and push yourself into that next level of competition, you're not advancing yourself more in terms of your standard, because you suddenly realise, I could make this that much better. And you get exposed to a lot more images as well in these higher level competitions. But the standard in this competition is outstanding. And I congratulate the makers and indeed the clubs who have no doubt had a lot of input into helping these makers develop their skills. Well done.
Okay, thank you very much, Bronwyn. Agatha, would you like to say a few words?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you as well for the invitation. It's an honor for me to be one of the judges of this competition. I think the same comment with Bronwyn that at the first time in the email it stated that this is non-advanced photographer, but I don't see that when I look at and review one by one the panels. It seems to be like most of the people actually already have an artistic sense, and a lot of photos with a good composition, and a lot of photos is actually with the high standard of technique, especially the portrait photo with a good lighting. And again, this photo is actually very very suitable. I mean, like if you join the international photo competition, and I'm very happy to see also the winners, because these winners is not only I think for the local competition, but I guess if you the winners join the international salon, they can also become one of the winner of the international salon around the world. So I would like to congratulate to all the winners. And also, I would like to congratulate to all the participants, because again, I really enjoy looking at the photos even one by one. Every time I judge, it's actually I'm also a process of learning, because there are a lot of good photos. I also learn from you, because photography is actually limitless. I mean, like, there is no boundaries, and there are a lot of, I mean, like you can take a lot of variety of photos in everywhere. So I also thank you for the opportunity of having opportunity to judge one of your photos, and I really enjoy looking at the panels and looking at the photos one by one. Thank you.
Thank you, Agatha. Richard, would you like to say a few words?
I certainly would. I think today we're all agreed that this has been a remarkably high standard. It's just so reassuring to know that the standard of photography of clubs in the Irish Photographic Federation is so high. And I will echo the encouragement there. Please put these pictures out to a wider audience. They deserve to be seen. And like Agatha, I feel very honoured to have been invited to this, because I have learned a lot. There's been some amazingly inspirational pictures in here, some great techniques against every range of photographic style that we know. But I must thank all the organisers, without whom this amazing event wouldn't take place. Zoom has got so much to be thanked, really, because to do this with a judge from England, one from Australia, one from Malaysia, run by Southern Ireland, is just unimaginable otherwise, and it's worked faultlessly. So firstly, my thanks go to Andrew for running this as the coordinator so well. Sabrina, Derville, Fiona, thank you for all your background work on this, pulling it together so well, making sure we were fully informed of what we needed to do. And I am totally relying on Ned to make this sound reasonably accessible to all the audiences that will hear it. So thank you very much. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I hope all the clubs watching this get as much pleasure from it as we did. Thank you.
Now, I'd just like to say thank you to the judges. Thank you for taking the time to judge the Irish Photographic Federation National Shield Digital 2020 competition. Your knowledge of photography and the in-depth feedback you gave throughout the viewing of the panels this morning, Sunday the 15th, will be inspiring to all the clubs, and especially to the individuals, photographers. I have nothing but praise for your professionalism throughout. If anything good comes out of COVID-19 is the opportunity to get judges of international quality. Zoom has opened up new doors to all clubs and societies. To hand over to the President of the Irish Photographic Federation, Don Redding.
Thanks, Andy, and thanks everyone for participating in the 2020 National Shield, albeit being a different event this year, but having said that, a successful event. In 2019, we held this event physically down in Kilkenny, a very, very well-run event with over 200 or 300 people over the course of the 2 days participating and coming along to see the event. And I want to thank Andy for that. And I also want to thank Andy for his initiative to take the thought of putting an actual visual National Shield online, which he took to council with the idea. It's the first time we've ever had to do it, but I want to acknowledge what he did in preparing for it and seeing it through. I want to thank the people who assisted him, the team of people he had from both Kilkenny and Carlow Photographic Societies, who assisted him over the couple of days and the preparations coming up to it. Any event can't be held without a sponsor, so I want to thank Sheldon Fine Art Papers for their sponsorship. And any event can't be held without the coordination of judges to judge photographs and the panels. We had 3 international judges. We haven't done that in a long time. And the 3 judges was Bronwyn Casey from Australia, Agatha Banuta from Indonesia, and Richard Spears from England. We had, as I said, 26 clubs participating last year, a fabulous event, co-hosted and coordinated by Andy. This year, I'm glad to say, and it's a great achievement, that we had 29 clubs participating. Whether clubs found that easier to participate during the pandemic, where they happened to physically travel to an event, might have had some impact on it, but still, it's no mean achievement. It's a great achievement for the Photographic Federation. We're delighted with the success of it, and we're delighted with the judges, and we're delighted with the work the judges did, and we're delighted with the contribution that the clubs continue to make for photography in Ireland. So Andy, well done, a great job done. Congratulations to all the clubs who participated, and well done to all those who were involved. Thanks very much.
Okay, now, thank you for taking, sorry, stop sharing that, one moment. Have I stopped sharing that? I have. Okay.
All okay, Andy, yeah.
Yep, just give me 1 second now, just if anybody wants to use the facilities there in your houses, go do that for 1 second while I just get the PowerPoint presentation up and the results. Now, where did my share button go to? Just 1 second there now. And we should have it here. Okay. Share. Now, where am I? Here we go. Okay, we just mute everybody else there now. And Ned, will you record this section for me, please?
It's recording now.
It's recording, Andy.
That's grand, thanks a million. Okay. Now just moving on. Okay, I'd just like to thank Sheldon for doing our sponsors today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please remember the discount code that can be used up to from 30 days from today. And again, our special thanks to our judges, Bronwyn, Agatha, and Richard. I think you'll all agree that they did a fantastic job. Now, the most improved club. I'm not quite sure when this was actually introduced, but I think it's a great idea. And the most improved club this year goes to Athlone Photographic Society Club, Photography Club, Athlone Photography Club. Well done to Athlone. Now we'll move on to the individual awards. Individual awards this year, we have honorable mentions, bronze, silver, and gold. And our first honorable mention goes to Lucas. Now, apologies, Lucas. I think it's Piosky. Sorry, my apologies. Never get that right. Again, congratulations to Lucas. Well done. Our second honorable mention goes to St. Bridget's Photography Group, WASP, Christy Brown. Well done. Excellent. Very well done. I think it's a beautiful image, and I think you heard what I think it was Agatha actually commented on it. Well done. Okay, our next is the bronze medal,
and we congratulate Mary Tannenburn, Carlow Photograph Society. Well done. Excellent. Beautiful shot. Moving on to silver. And I would like to congratulate, I'd like to congratulate Stephen Sinclair, Catchlight Camera Club. Well done. Told you this was nerve-wracking. Told you should have taken me tablets. Anyway, I think you just got a glimpse of the gold medal there by mistake, but I'd like to pass on sincere thanks to Yvonne Crawley of Drogheda Photographic Club. Well done. Gold medal. Congratulations. Okay, now gets exciting. We move on then to the individual colour awards. And the individual colour awards, we have honourable mention, bronze medals, silver medal and gold medal. First and only honourable mention goes to Paddy Ahern, Clonmel Camera Club. Well done. We move on then to, we have in this section, we've got 2 bronze medals, and the first bronze medal goes to John O'Halloran, Blarney Photographic Club. Beautiful shot. Well done. Well done, John. And our second bronze medal goes to Ger O'Halloran, Blarney Photographic Club. Beautiful moody shot, absolutely gorgeous. Well done, Ger. Now moving on then to our silver medal, and the silver medal goes to Barry Dillon, Offshoot Photograph Society. Absolutely lovely shot. I remember being over in Valencia myself and I took a shot something similar. I might borrow Barry's shot when I'm putting it into competitions. It'd be nice, actually, you know. I think it's nicer than my ones. But anyway, moving on, and we have the gold medal in this section. And congratulations to again, Drogheda Photographic Club, Yvonne Crawley. Well done again. Beautiful shot. Now, we'll move on to the Club Panel Award in monochrome. And going from third to first place, in the third section, in the third place, we have Drogheda. Well done, Drogheda, in third place. We have, moving on then to second place, we have Blarney Photographic Club. And in first place, we have Catchlight Camera Club. Well done to all the winners. Now, moving on to the colour awards in the panels. In third place, we go to Clonmel Camera Club, third place. And in second place, in the colour section, panels, Offshoot Photography Society. Well done. And we now come to first place. And we have Blarney Photography Club in first place. Okay. Moving on to the overall winners. And in third place, overall panel, they will receive a glass trophy. We have a voucher from Sheldon Long. And in third place is Offshoot Photography Society. So you can see the two panels there, the mono and the color. Well done to Offshoot. Hope you're all getting very excited now at the present time. We're coming now to the second place. And second place we have Catchlight Camera Club. And again, they will receive a glass trophy and they will receive the voucher from Sheldon. Now, he's all sitting there waiting for the winner of the National Shield Digital 2020 goes to, anybody have a drum roll there? We have Blarney Photographic Club. Well done. Well done.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Well done, Blarney.
Well done, everybody.
You mute everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Very much.
Fantastic. Well done.
Okay.
Well done, everyone.
Rory is there. Paul is there.
Paul Reed.
I see Sheldon there, or not Sheldon, Straffic. And Rory, would like to say a few words?
No, I'm shocked. I think our chairman, Paul Reedy, is on the call.
Paul, are you there?
I'll give a drum roll for Paul Reedy. He's still there.
I'm still here, Doctor. Yeah, that's.
He wins everything. But Paul Reedy is president. Yeah.
Well, I think it's very well done, Rory. And look, thank you all to the participating clubs. I'm still in shock that I got through this without a hitch.
It's brilliant,
Well done, Andy.
Very well done.
Well done, Andy. Yeah.
Well done,
Andrew, Andy, can I get a recount? Andy, I won this by a mile. Wow. We only want you to count the legal votes. Blarney, hand it over.
Very well done.
Well done.
I think this has been a challenge. It's been an experience, I suppose. It's been everything. I think I'm going to actually turn off my computer now for the next 6 months, so I don't have to see anybody, talk to anybody, do nothing.
You deserve it.
But can I just, did everybody enjoy it? Did it look good? Did it look well?
She say.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Here.
Andy, well done to your Sabrina and to Derval and Ed as well.
You did well. You did the call.
Derval,
You know.
Sabrina, Fiona, they did actually nothing. I mean, I've done all the work. No, we've had some late nights and we've had, I think, Zoom meetings nearly every day last week just to make sure and go through all the different scenarios and the whole lot. So it's been great. And, Sabrina and Fiona and Derval, were involved in the judging technical end of things. Ned and myself had a few little details with Zoom, and I had a few grey hairs before I came into this, but I think I've increased them a little bit. But, look, we always appreciate the cooperation we get from Carlo, and well done. And I see Joe Rattigan there someplace, and I see Gilbert there, and I saw Dave there, and I saw Roger there, and I saw a few more there as well. So well done. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you all the clubs. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Andy, a great show. Well done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well done, Andy.
Well done.
Well done.
Andy.
Very good.
Sure.
Girls.
President, go on, Andy. Well done.
Well done, girls. You did great.
Thanks, Tony.
Right. See you soon.
Good job, everybody. Very well done.
Well done.
Fantastic. Deserving winner.
Okay.
Folks, bye. Well done, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Well done, Blarney. Well done. Great panel, Blarney. Well done.
Fantastic win, Blarney. Well done.
Congratulations to all winners.
I think we'll have a recount just to be on the safe side for Rory. You know,
we got through it. It was very, very interesting.
Well
Hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you
Great
to
job.
those who have been
Andy,
watching
what's your
on
middle
our
name?
live stream. I'm just
Wonderful.
very happy. Say goodbye to one another.
Roger, keep quiet.
Drop this volume down there. I'd be out shouting it, wouldn't I? Be better at distance. You still haven't said quite goodbye to one another. So it was more or less as what we were expecting. What was said about our images were that they were nice images, but we need to work on our technicalities, and we know that, and that is what we are doing. So thank you all very much for having watched, and we look forward to seeing you again during the week. Take care. Bye. Before I leave, I will just leave reminding you of a